Hey there folks, welcome back to the Photo Video Show where we explore all things photography. I'm your host Mark Puckett, and this is part 2 of the Suicide Prevention Car Show episode. On that portion I just kind of wanted to show you the kind of footage I caught and the kind of cars that were actually going to be there. This part I actually want to show you the photography side, what I actually was able to capture, what lenses I used, all on the Sony A6000. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, getting right into it. This was a Cruising for the Cause American Foundation for Suicide Prevention car show. So this was in fact a charity event. They were raising money to help increase awareness for suicide prevention, and this happened to be the Scott Kurtzinger Memorial Presentation Award. It was a friend of ours that actually committed suicide a couple of years ago, and so they had an award that they were going to give out in his name. I thought that was super awesome. I think it's really important for anyone that is interested in doing any kind of charitable work to go out and do something with your skill and your craft and just try and give back a little bit. You know, share your talents with with people that will, make them happy. And, it's totally awesome to make money when you can, but get out there every now and then and just do something nice. It'll make you feel good. So, like I said, just getting right into it, this is just pure, unadulterated American muscle cars. I mean, for the most part, you're looking at almost everything that is true blue Americana. So, this right here was the sheriff's car from the Dukes of Hazzard. So, I used the A6000 this entire day on this particular shot. This was the 18-105 millimeter G lens. I gotta say, the cloud conditions were pretty good this day, and I mean, it was overcast, so no overly harsh shadows or anything, at least at the beginning. But I did want to kind of see what I could do. I made the mistake. Let me just go ahead and tell you this right off the bat. I made the mistake of leaving flashes at home. Most people will tell you that you don't need flashes during the day, and that's 100% not true. You need flashes all the time. But for whatever reason, I said, I'm not going to take them. I don't think that I'm going to really use them. I'm not going to have enough time to set up some really cool compositions and stuff like that. So I ended up just leaving them home, and that was totally my bad. I should have taken them, spent some real time with some of these cars, but I just didn't. So yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, I'm sure that anyone from America has seen this kind of stuff. So this one was actually taken with the 16mm 2.8. I know that the 16mm, any of those super small pancake, cheaper Sony lenses, they really do get a bad rap. But I want you all to look at this. This has not been sharpened in any way, shape, or form. This was on auto white balance. I think I shot this in JPEG. This was at an f6.3 at 1/160th of a second at ISO 100. This thing is just tack sharp. I love the effect that the 16mm with the fisheye conversion lens has on some of these photographs. They are perfect for getting a nice wide view inside all of the vehicles. This is a shot from the other side. Now, I'll grant you the edges are not super duper sharp or anything, but you've got to understand that you and I, as photographers, we're the only ones that are going to notice that kind of stuff. Most people are just going to look at this and just bam, they're just going to see this big, awesome, skewed perspective photograph, and they're just going to be wowed and impressed. So trying to keep that in mind, that the smaller details of a photograph have almost zero impact to the layperson. Took some engine shots of the General Lee that was on hand. Gorgeous, gorgeous car. Again, this was taken with the 18-105 millimeter. And I gotta say that I ended up going out here with, I think, 4 lenses, maybe 5 total, in just a small little, I think it was the Low Pro 170W bag, I think it's, or the AW bag, I can't remember exactly what it's called. I'll put a link to it in the description box below, but it was enough to carry the camera, the 18-105 G lens, a 50mm Minolta 1.7 lens, the 16mm with the fisheye conversion. I think I took the 35mm closed circuit TV lens 1.7. I don't even think I used that lens on this day. It was just, I was having such a good time with the Sony lenses, and I also took the Sony 55-210mm. And I don't really know why people at all were bagging on that lens. I got some fantastic shots. And on the A6000, at the furthest focal length of 210, you're actually getting, I think it's like 315 or 330, something like that. So I was able to reach all the way across the field of all these cars, and I was able to get extremely awesome candid shots of people that had no idea that I was even there. In the right lighting conditions, any lens is useful. So don't listen to people that say, oh, that's a shit lens, you can't get anything good with it. I'll even give you an example real quick of this shot right here. I took from about 200 meters away, and I was able to get this close. This is not a cropped image in any way, shape, or form. You can even see that the focal length was 210 millimeters. Over here, the ISO was at 125. This was the aperture that was on it, was an f6.3. This shot is awesome. The lines and everything are crisp and clean. There's very little noise and artifacting anywhere on my subject. So a lot of people bag on that lens, and there's absolutely no reason to listen to these people, because the photographs that I'm getting are coming out awesome. And it's an extremely inexpensive lens. I don't want to call it cheap. I just want to call it inexpensive, because that's, in my opinion, what it is. It is an inexpensive lens that will help you reach across a distance, get a nice, sweet shot, and you didn't have to spend an arm and a leg for, say, like the maybe 70 to 200, which is a $1,500 lens. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a $1,500 lens, but the level of quality that you're going to get out of the 55 to 210, as long as you're using it in the right lighting conditions, you're golden. You really are golden. So this was another shot that I took with the exact same lens, same focal distance, and these pictures are coming out really, really good looking, in my opinion. You know, everyone's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to try and sell you on something that you absolutely don't want, or you know, if you just got it in your head, you've got to have $2,000 lenses, by all means, spend your money. But for the vast majority of people that do photography and then show them to their clients are not going, huh, that's a really great picture. What lens exactly did you use? Because they don't give a shit. And personally, I don't think you should either. And of course, the 16mm with the fisheye conversion, these shots right here I used with, this was at ISO 100. I was at f-stop f22. I had, I believe, an Indy 4 neutral density filter on there. I did flash a little bit to kind of just toss some light down here on the side. But the reason that I did this is that generally, if you want to get any sort of like really cool dramatic shot like this, where you've got the sky and the clouds, and especially if the clouds are very interesting looking, you always want to expose for the sky. You don't want your sky to be blown out. When I first got there, I wasn't using the neutral density filters, and you can easily see, like in some of these shots, where there's almost no detail in the sky. Well, that's because I wasn't, so you can see that my f-stop was at 3.5 here. The whole sky is blown out because I was exposing for the car and not the sky. So when you do that, you lose all the detail. But when you actually set up your shot correctly, you can get these big, beautiful, dramatic skies with all the clouds just there. You want to expose for the sky. You control your flash with your shutter. And this is kind of the reason why I had brought a flash, is so that I could have exposed better for the car. Once you add that neutral density filter, your subjects, your foreground, is going to get very, very dark. You're just going to lose a little bit of detail in there. I mean, you can balance it out pretty good. I tried to do the best job that I could with what I was working with. In some of these shots, I mean, I was shooting into the sun, trying to get a little bit of flare, trying to make these shots a little bit more dramatic. But exposing for the sky, throwing on that neutral density filter, and flashing your subject, you're going to get some really, really cool shots. And again, these were all taken with the 18-105. This one, of course, was shot with the fisheye lens or whatever. No neutral density filters on these. I wanted to gather as much light in those dark engines as possible. The inside of cars are always a tough one because, again, you are almost always it's going to be they're going to end up being very dark shots. The lens lineup that Sony has and that they're coming out with, they're going to completely and totally satisfy just about anyone's needs. I mean, they have really done a good job, in my opinion, of creating very small, lightweight lenses, very small and lightweight cameras that can completely and totally stand up with any of the bigger cameras. And again, if I had been carrying around a big bulky DSLR with 5 lenses, I would have needed my backpack at least. And I would have constantly had to been slinging my backpack off my back trying to get these shots. But I just had a small little low pro slung on my side, 5 lenses, one Sony A6000, one big 64 gigabyte card, and I was able to just swap those lenses on the fly each and every single time, and I was getting all kinds of shots. I was getting all the shots that I wanted. With the 18-105, I had a nice zoom range. I was not hindered by distance whatsoever. The 55-210 really reached out there and grabbed the shots that I couldn't get up close if I didn't want to interrupt the goings-ons with the participants and stuff. I was able to just kind of get them talking and doing their thing, and I was able to just get shots where I wanted to add a little bit of compression by zooming all the way in. This one right here was shot at only 41 millimeters. But some of these shots I was getting all the way from 210, and the shots were just coming out perfect each and every time. I was really enjoying the whole process of grabbing these very small lightweight lenses, running around. It was a hot day. It was like 84, 90% humidity out there, and because my load was lighter, the camera was lighter. This right here, by the way, is one of the reasons I wanted the flash. I was basically shooting kind of into the sun. The sun was kind of off and to the right, and this side of the car was a little underexposed for me. So in this particular case, this is where I would have wanted to flash, but overall, I don't think it came out too bad. But yeah, just having that really light camera, that really light setup and all that, I was able to walk around. I was not tired. I was not fatigued. I didn't find myself worn out at the end of the day. I was definitely hot and ready to go home when it was time to go home. But if I had been carrying around a big load, I would have not nearly had as much fun as I did because of such of a small form factor with the Sony A6000. So as far as I'm concerned, I love this setup. I am still, after all this time, loving the Sony A6000. I'm loving the lenses that I have picked up thus far in the Sony lineup as compared to a lot of other setups that I've used before. I gotta say, I'm having a really good time, and I think that is what photography should be all about. So there you have it, and there you go, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I really do want to thank the organizers of the Suicide Prevention Car Show, Cruising for a Cause, for inviting me out and letting me help and letting me just kind of see what everyone was up to and be a part of the whole experience. So to you guys over there, I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. So at any rate, guys, thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Peace.